What's up, friends? Today we are going to be talking about an event called Esk8Con. Now, what is Esk8Con? Well, you'll find out in this video. There's a lot of important information sprinkled throughout the entire thing, so I highly suggest you watch all of it, but a lot of this information can be found on the website and the Instagram, but I've tried to bring it all together, give you the most up-to-date information, and to answer some questions that some of you might have in your head. We'll try and get you guys ready to know what to expect for this event and make sure you have a great time. So stay tuned and we'll get right into it. Alright, so we got a lot of information to cover in this video, and I'm going to try to do it in like one take just in interest of time. We're going to go through all of this information by using the who, what, where, when, why, how method, and then another details at the very end. So, first thing, who? Who exactly is hosting Esk8Con? Well, the person behind all of this is none other than Mike Beard, also known as M-Boards. Now, M-Boards has been around for a while. Mike has grown a lot since he started the company, both as a business person and as someone who is passionate about electric skateboards. And he was the main man behind this, getting together the money, coordinating all the vendors, and securing this awesome place where we will get to experience this conference. Now, next thing up, we have the vendors list. Obviously, you can't really have a conference without vendors. So we've got a whole bunch of vendors on the list, and you can go to esk8con.com/confirmed vendors to see the whole list. Some ones that I'm really excited about are Hunter Boards, Hoyt Skate, Find Out Customs, and Metro Board, and we've got a whole bunch of awesome vendors on here, so I encourage you to check out the confirmed vendors list for the most up-to-date. I'll probably try and put something on screen here with a list of all of them, but I don't know if it'll fit. Anyways, we got lots of awesome vendors that I'm looking forward to seeing and meeting there, and yeah. The next thing that comes up is the people that are hosting the racing. This event is going to have a completely organized race event as well as the conference. So people racing will be coordinated by none other than MoeStooge. If you guys have ever paid attention to the Esk8 racing scene, you will definitely know the Stooge racing team. MoeStooge is a legend when it comes to high speed, high power racing boards, and he's the perfect man for this job. So Mike has hired on Stooge to coordinate all the racing, and we'll talk a little bit about race structure later in the video. Next, the what. So what is Esk8Con and what should you expect when you go to this conference? Now, the first thing we've got is vendor booths. Of course, if you're going to have a vendor with wares and boards and all these kinds of things, you need to have a booth. So we'll show you on the map in a little bit. The vendors will have an area where they all have a booth to talk to customers, show off their board, show off their products, and just hang out in general. So that's one thing to expect. All the vendors will have a booth. Next, you've got lots of time to hang out. I know for myself, I'm going to be meeting a lot of people that I know online for the first time in person, and it's just a really great place to meet people. A lot of people with like-minded interests, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. So you can look forward to meeting your online friends in person. The next awesome thing at this event is the racing. Now, this is a little bit different than the normal event pass, but if you buy the racing pass, you will get to participate in this awesome racing event that is put together by MoeStooge. There will be prizes for this, and we'll talk about that a little bit later in the video as well. Next thing you should expect is demo rides. I know a lot of vendors are going to be bringing their boards, and a lot of people want to try out boards before you buy them, and unfortunately, a lot of companies just don't have a way to provide that platform. This conference will be an opportunity for vendors to show off their boards, allowing you guys to both ride them on the track during free ride time or maybe ride them in the parking lot. I'm not 100% sure how this is going to work yet, but I'm definitely excited to try out things like the Hunter board and maybe the new Hoyt UAV. The last thing to expect for this is a great group ride at the end of the day. Now, this is technically outside of the event. It's after the event ends for the day on Saturday, but it is a gigantic group ride in Las Vegas, and this is going to be awesome. A night group ride hosted by SoCal legend and Shred Lights together, and it's going to be an awesome experience going through Las Vegas, and I'm really excited for this as well. I think night riding is super awesome. Got all your lights on your boards, you have a street takeover, and it's just going to be really cool. And yeah, definitely looking forward to that. So that pretty much covers the what for this conference. We'll go into more detail on some of those later. Next thing up is where. Now, the e-skate scene is international, but it just so happens that this conference will be in Las Vegas, Nevada. Now, I did already mention that, of course, but I didn't mention where it was going to be. It will be at the Gene Woods Racing Experience, which is a track. It's a go-kart track, it's a RC cars track, and I think they've got other stuff there as well. So that is in Las Vegas, Nevada, and it is right next to an airport. So if you're gonna be flying in, very convenient access. Now, there's not too much other information about that. I will show a picture on Google Maps or something of what it looks like. It should be pretty self-explanatory. If you type in Gene Woods Racing Experience, Las Vegas, Nevada, you'll definitely be able to get there. Next, the when. When is this event? Well, it's coming up really, really soon, and I want to get this video out quickly, which is why I'm doing this in one take. So, the event is March 26th and 27th, which is this Saturday and Sunday, and it goes from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. on both Saturday and Sunday. We've got a full schedule for the actual event, and I will show that in just a minute here. So, anyway, March 26th and 27th, that's all you need to know. It's coming out really soon, just a couple days, and I'm super excited. Totally in scramble mode to get this battery finished and some other stuff before I go, but we'll get it done. I'm gonna pause real quick and I'll pull up the schedule so we can talk about that and give you guys an idea of what these days will look like. Okay, so I've got the schedule up on my screen here and we'll just talk through a couple of things. So the event is officially 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. We've got gates opening to vendors at 7 a.m. So don't show up then. People will be setting up and we'll be very busy. And then 8 o'clock a.m. is when guest check-in begins. You'll have bought your pass online, or you can buy it at the gate, and it'll just be a super quick process to check in, make sure you're paid up. You got your equipment, you got your board, and whatnot. Officially at 9 a.m., the gates will open to guests, and people will be allowed to go in, see the vendors, see the track, hang out, do whatever. So between 8 and 9 a.m., feel free to arrive anytime between then, and you'll be perfectly fine. Next thing on the schedule is when the track opens, which is 10 a.m. and we'll talk about how that's going to work in just a second. And then we've got Colorado Caddy speaking at 11:30 a.m. And then we've got a whole bunch of free time until there are some raffle drawings that are going to happen at 4:30 p.m. on day one. And then the track will close at 4:30. I mean, I don't know if I really need to read all this stuff out. I'm just going to put it on the screen. Let's talk about a couple important things here. So there is a track schedule for Saturday and there's a track schedule for Sunday because there's two very different things happening. On Saturday, there will be demos on the track. There will be free skate for you to just go on the track, hang out, being safe, of course, with your protection, your gloves and helmet, what have you. I don't think there's any full leather requirements or anything like that for this, but I know you definitely need to be wearing a helmet to be on the track. So, I mean, don't quote me on it, but I'm pretty sure that's how it's gonna be. So it looks like we got track open from 10 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. That's a ton of time to hang out on there, get some practice laps in for Sunday. And then Sunday is the really exciting part. So Sunday we have racing. So we got race warm-ups, race qualifiers, we have our heat races and the main events. And then we've got some more raffles, the award ceremony, and then it'll be all done. So this is going to be really awesome. Hopefully sharing the schedule with you guys has given you a better idea of what it's going to look like. Yeah, so we'll move on to the next thing, which is going to be the group ride. So the group ride will be on Saturday after the actual conference, and if you go on the Instagram for Esk8Con, you can see some more details. It will be at 8 p.m. On Saturday, and the address to meet for that is going to be, I'm going to put it on screen here, but let me just pull it up. Okay, so I totally just read off the wrong address. I have the correct address now. So the Saturday night group ride is at 900 East Fremont Street, Las Vegas, Nevada, 89101. We'll be meeting at the Llama Lot at 8 p.m. and then there will be a giveaway at 8:45 and we'll roll out at 9 p.m. I've been told that this ride is between 10 and 15 miles, so definitely plan for that. I don't think there's a charging stop anywhere along the way, so hopefully you've got something that can make it that distance. Otherwise, I imagine some people won't be able to make it the whole way, and maybe there'll be an opportunity to drop out. But I'm super excited for this group ride. It's going to be really awesome. I think SoCal Legend has a great route planned out for us, and it was really, really cool. If you've never been on a group ride before, I know some cities have a very small Esk8 scene. This will be a great taste of the action to hang out with some awesome people. I'm going to try to not make this too long, so we'll get through the last bit. So why exactly have Esk8Con? Well, it's a community event to give you the opportunity to discuss new things, meet your vendors, talk about boards, and just in general hang out with people that you've probably never met before. I know for a fact that I've really enjoyed going to SD Esk8 group rides, and this is going to be even more cool because we get to meet people from all over the place. And yeah, it'll be interesting to demo boards and try out other people's boards. And most of all, when do you really get the opportunity to race on a go-kart track? I mean, that's sick. That's awesome. I hopefully get a chance to get on there. I know I'm going to be doing media most of the day, but hopefully I'll get a chance to take my board on there and really test it to the limits. Next, how? So how do you go to Esk8Con? Well, first you have to buy your tickets. So they're on the website. I think it's $35 for the general entrance and $85 for racing. So yeah, it's not too bad as conferences go, especially for the racing, because you know you have to take into consideration that a whole track was rented out here, so that obviously came at a large fee. Now, you can actually buy tickets in person at the event if you forgot, or if you're local and you're just going to show up. So you can buy them at the door, and then if for some reason you decide to only come Sunday, you can totally do that. And you can purchase a ticket at the door, and it will be half the price since you're only experiencing half the conference. However, I will point out that if you're going to race, you must come Saturday and be registered before 5 p.m. I'm sure they're going to need all of that information to set up the qualifiers on Sunday. Now, hotels. So accommodations, it's Las Vegas. There's tons and tons of places to stay. There's Hilton, Marriott, MGM Grand. Lots of different options at different price points, and there's a couple places that are close to the track, and yeah, I mean, it's up to you. It's getting super close, so if anyone is planning to all of a sudden go out, maybe it'll be hard to find stuff. I don't know. I can't imagine it'll be that bad since it is just a random weekend in March. Now, next thing, where to park. I'm going to put a map of the location on the screen. There's an area that will be circled. There's a big parking lot. I think it's fenced in, I'm not 100% sure, but you can park there. And then also on this map, there's vendor locations circled, and then there's the track, obviously you can see that. And yeah, so next thing that's important is food. There will be some food trucks on location, and there will also be concessions available, which will be great throughout the day. Of course, this is Las Vegas still. I imagine it won't be that hard to find fast food around nearby, but yeah, there will be food on location if you need to eat there. And finally, restrooms. There will be restrooms on location. The facilities have some, and there will also be some porta potties. Just important information. So I think that's pretty much all for the how, and we'll just go into a couple additional details now. So first of those being racing prizes. There's some really awesome prizes lined up for this event, and they recently posted them on the Instagram, so there's some really awesome prizes. First place prize, you get an entire Esk8, so an Evolve Stoke or an Ecomobile ET2. Second place, you get some all-terrain wheels, some Caguamas, and some ceramic bearings. And third place, you get some all-terrain wheels and some ceramic bearings. So some prizes donated by some of the vendors. I don't know exactly how this worked, but it's pretty awesome that these companies were able to host some prizes for the racers. And you know, besides that, I think there will be trophies or something like that. I don't really know how that all works yet, but I'm sure Stooge Racing Team will have it all figured out, and it'll make it really awesome. Of course, you will get photos at the end of the day when the racing winners have been decided. I will be taking those photos most likely, so say hi to me if you like. So yeah, so that's the information about the racing prizes. The schedule for the racing, I will post a picture of that on screen. We've got qualifiers, heats, races, and the main event. And I mean, you can just read it. It'll be on screen. I think this is pretty standard for how MoeStooge normally runs their events. Could be wrong, but definitely sounds interesting and challenging for sure. Final thing, a little bit of information about this track. So this track at Gene Woods Racing Experience is pretty small in terms of turning radius and straightaways. You're not going to have as much of an opportunity to get over 30 miles an hour as you would on a larger car-based track, which I know some of the other races have been on. So for this track, definitely you want to focus on rider skill more than speed. So don't be afraid to enter the racing even if you have a slower board, because if you're nimble enough on your double kingpin trucks or on your short board or whatever to outpace some people with a giant turning radius, you might have a chance at winning. So don't be afraid to enter. Make sure you got that protective gear to keep everyone safe. And yeah, the track surface should be decent. I think it'll be pretty smooth. Mike told me something about them preparing it during this month and resurfacing. So hopefully it'll be a nice smooth track, and that'll be really awesome. Now, the very final thing, hopefully you've stayed this long. I know it's gotten a little bit longer than I expected. There will be a board valet at the event, or so I've been told, and you should be able to charge your board there and leave it there with someone watching it to make sure it doesn't get stolen. So make sure you bring your charger, especially if you're racing, because racing takes a lot of battery power. If you didn't know, all the accelerating, decelerating, it just sucks battery. So make sure you bring your charger to the event, and there should be a place for you to charge it and leave it while you go around, demo boards, and hang out with your friends, or new friends for that matter. All right, so that is Esk8Con. Hopefully this answers any of your questions that you might have. If you have more questions for me, please leave them in the comments down below. I will try to answer everything that I can, and if I don't have the answer to that, I will get the answer for that. So yeah, feel free to have this as an open board. I will also probably repost a link to this on Instagram, so you can comment on Instagram, comment on the YouTube video, whatever you like. And hopefully I'll see you there. Let's have an awesome time. Stay safe, keep on riding, and peace out.